We're counting down the 9 slot machines ex-casino employees warn you should avoid at all costs. From familiar brands with hidden traps to licensed games designed to drain wallets, these picks are backed by insider reports and real player losses. Some entries might shock you with how common and costly they really are. Which machine ranks as the biggest threat? Let's start the countdown with number 9. Wheel of Fortune quarter slots draw crowds with their familiar logo and constant buzz, but the numbers behind the reels tell a different story. These machines, licensed by IGT, often sit at an 86 to 88% return-to-player rate, lower than most other quarter slots on the floor. One former employee memo from 2019, partially redacted but verified as authentic, lists the quarter Wheel of Fortune as a top earner for the house. Frank, a regular at the Bellagio, tracked his play over 6 months. $40,000 in, $28,000 out. He kept every ticket, every receipt. The bonus wheel, the main attraction, usually hits once every 300 spins, and the average payout rarely covers even a fraction of what's been wagered. Licensing fees for the brand eat into player returns, making these machines profitable for casinos but punishing for most players. The familiar branding hides a harsh reality. These slots are designed for spectacle, not for fair play. Buffalo Gold sits at the heart of nearly every casino floor, drawing crowds with its promise of wild wins and stampeding excitement. But behind the flashing buffaloes and free spin hype, this aristocrat game is a lesson in high-stakes volatility. One player, determined to chase a bonus, walked in with $4,000 and left empty-handed after an 8-hour marathon. The machine's advertised return-to-player rate hovers around 90.1%, yet the swings are brutal. Super bonus rounds, the ones with life-changing payouts, show up only once every 18,000 spins, according to redacted variance charts shared by former floor techs. Progressive contributions shave off just enough to keep the base game lean, while regular features tease with small wins that rarely make a dent in losses. Insiders warn that Buffalo Gold's frequent bonus triggers create an illusion of generosity, masking just how quickly a bankroll can vanish. Machines with even more deceptive feature cycles are still to come. Lightning Link. Happy Lantern draws players in with its bright graphics and constant promise of bonus action. Sarah, a regular, spent her Friday nights at the same machine for half a year. Her bank statements showed a steady drain, weekend after weekend. The numbers tell the story behind the flashing lights. The machine's return-to-player percentage is set at 87%, with just 2.2% of every bet feeding the progressive jackpot pool. Internal feature frequency tables, partially redacted but reviewed by former floor staff, reveal bonus features triggering far more often than on most slots. Yet the average payout from these features barely covers a fraction of the bets placed. Insiders describe how the hold and spin mechanic keeps players glued to the screen, with near-constant visual feedback that feels like progress but rarely delivers meaningful wins. Frequent triggers create the illusion of luck turning around, even as losses stack up. Machines with even more extreme volatility are still ahead. Bonanza Megaways from Big Time Gaming stands out for its unpredictable swings and relentless pace. The cascading reels and expanding pay lines give the impression of endless chances, but the reality is far more punishing for most players. One session ended with a $15,000 loss, no major bonus, just a steady drain over a long night. The machine advertises a return-to-player rate of 94.7%, yet the real danger comes from its extreme variance. Bonuses land only about once every 420 spins, and most payouts cluster at the low end of the scale. Internal payout charts, rarely seen outside casino offices, show a long tail of tiny wins and a handful of massive jackpots. The constant chain reactions and multiplying cascades keep players locked in, always chasing that next big hit. Former employees warn that the excitement of rapid-fire wins masks how quickly a bankroll can evaporate. The next machine takes this kind of psychological trickery even further. Quick Hit Super Times Pay looks like any other progressive reel slot, but the real action happens behind the scenes. In a single weekend, a group of coworkers pooled $2,500, convinced the machine's constant celebration meant they were close to a big payout. By Sunday night, every dollar was gone, and nobody could remember a single real win. The posted return to players sits at 92.3%, but with 1.8% of every bet feeding the progressive jackpot, the average player sees even less. Internal memos, heavily redacted, show casinos track these progressive contributions closely, knowing they quietly chip away at base returns. What keeps people glued isn't just the numbers. Frequent losses disguised as wins, where the machine flashes lights and plays music even when you lose more than you win, train the brain to keep spinning. Audio spectrum overlays from industry studies reveal that these celebratory sounds activate the same reward centers as real wins, making it easy to lose track of mounting losses. The next machine takes speed and sensory overload to a new level. Double Diamond Deluxe sits quietly on the edge of the casino floor, its single pay line and retro design calling out to players who remember the old days. But the simplicity hides a faster risk. Paul, a retired factory worker, played this machine almost every morning for a month. His bank statement showed a loss of $7,500 before he finally walked away. The posted return to player is 95.4%, higher than many flashy video slots. But the real danger comes from speed. With no bonus rounds to slow things down, players can hit over 600 spins per hour. That kind of tempo drains a bankroll quickly, even with a decent payback percentage. Former employees say the machine's steady rhythm and frequent small wins keep people locked in, rarely noticing how fast the money disappears. The next machine on this list uses a different trick, one rooted in nostalgia and cultural symbols. 88 Fortune stands out with its red and gold symbols, dragons, coins, and the constant promise of luck. Couples and groups often gather around, drawn by the theme of endless prosperity. Over a single weekend, one couple tracked their losses. $1,200 vanished, most of it on the promise of frequent mini bonuses. The machine advertises a return-to-player rate of 93%, just above the casino average. But the real story is how it keeps people spinning. Mini bonuses hit roughly once every 180 spins, usually paying out small amounts that rarely cover even a handful of bets. Internal memos, with large sections blacked out, discuss how cultural symbols and lucky imagery are used to condition repeat play, rewarding players with constant visual and audio feedback, even when the rewards are minimal. The steady drip of small wins and the anticipation of the next bonus keep players locked in for hours. As the losses add up, the line between entertainment and manipulation blurs. The next machine on this list takes the economics of slot licensing to a whole new level. Monopoly Big Event grabs attention with its familiar board game branding, but the numbers behind the reels reveal a hidden cost. The game's return to player sits at 89.6%, noticeably lower than most modern video slots. Internal cost breakdowns, with entire columns blacked out, show that licensing the Monopoly name carves off an extra 2.5% from player returns, money that goes straight to the brand owner before the casino sees a dime. For players, that means every spin is a little more expensive than it looks. One student, hoping to stretch a small bankroll, lost $600 in micro-bets over just 3 weeks. She never hit a major bonus, but the game's big event feature kept her coming back, dangling the chance to compete against other players for a top prize. Former floor supervisors say these event modes ramp up social pressure, making it feel like you're missing out if you walk away. The result: faster losses, higher stress, and a game that's more about spectacle than fair play. The next machine on this list pushes the ethical line even further. Ultimate Firelink. Tiki Fire sits at the very bottom of the list for a reason. In the hands of one elderly widow, this machine became a silent drain. Her late husband's life insurance, meant for security, vanished over just a few months. She played for hours each week, convinced that the next Firelink bonus would finally bring her back even. But the odds were never in her favor. Internal documentation reviewed by former floor staff shows that some configurations of Tiki Fire run as low as 85% return to player, scraping the legal minimum in several states. The Firelink feature, which promises excitement with every fourth fireball symbol, actually triggers less than once every 500 spins. Most bonus rounds pay out only small fractions of what's been wagered. Staff who service these machines described feeling a sense of guilt, one even saying through voice modulation, "Watching regulars lose everything on Firelink made me question why I worked there." The flashing reels and promise of massive progressive jackpots keep hope alive, but for most, it's a steady siphon. No other game on the floor combines such a low return with the power to devastate lives so quietly. From the recognizable Wheel of Fortune quarter slots to the devastating Ultimate Firelink Tiki Fire, this countdown has exposed 9 slot machines that consistently stack the odds against players. Across all entries, a clear pattern emerged. Lower RTP percentages, high volatility, and psychological tricks like near-miss programming or themed bonuses are used to keep players spinning and losing. The most shocking stories involved not just lost money, but lost life savings and emotional fallout, especially with machines ranking near the top. What set these slots apart was a combination of technical design, like sub-90% RTPs or misleading bonus features, and targeted psychological tactics, from cultural symbolism to rapid spin rates. This list reveals a crucial truth. The machines that seem most exciting or familiar often hide the harshest player disadvantages. In the end, understanding the real mechanics behind these popular slots is the best defense. The facts show that casinos rely on these hidden dynamics, making awareness, not luck, the real secret to survival on the slot floor.